Well, okay, it's 3:15 and the temperature seems to be falling. I don't know if it's just me, but my tent is pitched. My interior, all my gear is unpacked, and so that part's done. I'm going to probably change clothes now, and then once my clothes are changed, I'm going to start scouting out my area. There is a fallen log back here, but it's pretty rotten. There's an embankment there behind me. I don't know if you can see it, which is a lucky break because there's a fairly good wind blowing out there. Nothing horrible, but that bank is basically blocking all of it. It's dead calm where I am right now. That might change during the night. Again, here's Goose Creek that's moving along at a pretty good pace. And I'm sure I'll be able to get some water out of there if I need to. Okay, back to my little corner of the world. It looks like I'm pretty remote. I'm really not all that remote. I heard a couple of voices while I was pitching the tent. I believe that the WNOD trail is actually up there on top of that embankment, but I can't see them and they can't see me. Well, okay, I've changed clothes and I'm dry and feeling a little warmer. I've got a flashlight, a water bottle, I've got some cordage with me, and I'm going to hike down this path that I've not been down before and see what there is to see. Water filter bag. I'm also bringing my hand axe. I need to make sure I don't get wet because these are my dry clothes. I do have another shirt I could wear if I had to, but these are my only dry pants. So off we go. Well, there really is no place I can find within reasonable walking distance that where you can actually walk to the edge of the water. This cliff on both sides of this part called Cyclone Creek persists. It gets quite dense back in there. But literally right there at that tree is where I tied the parachute cord around the mouth of a water bottle and threw it in and scooped up a couple of bottles of water and filled up my water squeeze plus an extra bottle of water. That worked pretty good. Lesson to be learned, I did not remove the top from the water bottle. I let it dangle by the little keeper, and on the second pull of water, the top of my water bottle fell off, and I was able to secure it, but not without some effort. So the best thing to do is just remove the bottle, or the top of the water bottle completely. But the good news was I found a stash of firewood. I mean, deep into the forest. It is, of course, soaking wet, so I probably won't be able to get a fire. But I plan to make some sort of elevated surface, even if it's only 3 or 4 inches off the ground, which is quite muddy. And I'll sit on one of those logs and I'll cook on top of the other ones. It is it's muddy back here because it's rained like hell for all day yesterday and most of this morning, so the ground is quite wet, and you know, that's just part of what you have to learn to live with, and I'll deal with that. It's really quite pretty back here. It's not you know, it's not in any way sculptured or maintained or manicured or kept. The foot trail is basically what people have beaten into it. The Cyclone Creek is, you know, full of whatever branches fall in it, and it's pretty difficult to get much further up this little path than I've come, and I don't know of any way I can see to get onto the other side of Goose Creek, which I scoped and doesn't look, I mean, it's pretty, but doesn't look a whole heck of a lot better. There is some fast moving water down there that you can hear and see, I think that is not normal. And look, there's a rope hanging off that tree. I guess someone's been swimming there. But there seems to be no easy, beach type access or walk-in type access there. And given that current out there, if you were to go out in that, that current would take you away. Okay, so I'm going to try and set something up in my little camp here. I don't know what time it is. It's probably around 4:15. The darkness is going to come, I think, early tonight because it is overcast. So I need to be prepped and ready to go to get everything set up that I'm going to get set up. So I don't know what, it's a bit early to eat. I might just make a cup of coffee. I don't want to waste my fuel. I think I'll have enough. Maybe it's time to see what I can do with this wood. No luck finding any type of kindling. And I just don't, I didn't think to bring any, I don't have any paper with me at all. I should have brought, I do have some paper towels, but I don't know what kind of kindling those are going to provide to give me a fire. Maybe if I cut some of these twigs up, I can get something going. We'll see. Well, I don't know how long that fire's going to burn. My first attempt to get it going failed. I've been collecting some dry kindling. I think I've got it burning. I don't know for how long. But I'm hearing some crackling going on, and hopefully I'll be able to get, you don't need a fire, but I don't know. I thought maybe it'd be a nice thing to have a fire of some type going. Okay, this fire is looking better and better. As I said, it's my second attempt. Finally, I realized that the dry wood was actually on the inside of those logs. So with my hand axe, I started splittering off shavings about whatever I could get, and those seem to catch pretty well. I don't know why it's smoking as much as it is, because it's smoking like, maybe because it's wet, but at any rate, underneath that top log that I put on there to reflect heat back into the heat source, I think I've got a sustainable burn. I'm going to try and feed some of these little wet twigs on there so that I can, what I really would like would be a slow, low burn. I don't need a raging fire. I just like a little bit of heat. But mainly I just wanted to see if I could start a fire. And I think it's going. So we'll see. I'm going to go feed some more wood to it. Well, okay. I'm here living in the dirt. I can't find anything suitable to work on, so I'm just working on the dirt. I'm boiling some water to make a cup of coffee. I'm afraid I might be in for some rain, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. If I get rain, my lovely fire will be gone. I really like this fire. So we'll just see how it goes. But rain is beginning to fall. Well, that little rain shower passed, and my fire survived and is burning reasonably well. I was lucky to find that wood. If I hadn't found that wood, I wouldn't be able to get a fire. But I found it in two places. I found two small, and that's firewood that someone bought. I found two small pieces on the path on the way in, and back further deeper into that trail there, I found, I guess 3 or 4. It took me 2 trips back there to bring them back. But I think part of what this wild camping is that you learn to make do with what you got and what you can find. So when you luck out, you luck out. So I guess if it rains, I'm going to try and put whatever I might need during the night into the little patios on my tent, the little porches, and then the rest I'm decided to leave the panniers on the bike. They're waterproof, and that's kind of what I'm working off of. So we'll see how it goes. Oops, I think the rain's coming back again. I don't know, we'll see. So far it's stayed pretty dry. Pretty little area back here. And you'd think you're in the middle of nowhere, but I'm probably not more than 1/10 of a mile off of a paved road. You'd never know it back here. Well, I was just starting to make dinner, and the rain started to come down. So I've abandoned dinner, and I'm sitting holed up in my tent. I'm afraid that'll be the end of my fire, but still, it was nice to have it. So a couple of things too. You want a place to put stuff. The first thing I've noticed is all my pockets are filled up, and if you put anything down on the ground, you walk on top of it, you lose it. So, once you set up camp, you need to have some place to put stuff. So, what I think I'm going to do is empty one pannier, put everything in the tent, and then that pannier will become my place to put stuff. Because pretty much everything I have I need, and if I lose something, it's really a problem. So, I'm going to hole up in here for a minute. Hopefully the rain will pass. Maybe my fire will survive, I don't know. And then dinner. The feeling of being alone is really quite profound. I haven't seen anybody since I turned off to come into this place. At Burke Lake, I thought I was alone, but there were other campers there. I could see people. There weren't a lot, at least in the first night, but I was never alone. I'm pretty alone right here. And although I don't think I'm in any danger, you're certainly aware of the fact that, you're all by yourself. It's not unpleasant, but it's different. So I imagine if you were like this for a long period of time, it would probably get to you. That's been 7 minutes, but I think, see, I don't have a measuring cup, and I'm disappointed in this particular pot because it doesn't have measuring on it. So I estimated 2 cups of water in it before I left, but I think I put in a little bit too much water, so I'm just going to let it go a little bit longer. It smells pretty good, and the rain's been kind of dropping on and off, but my fire is surviving. Still going, and this is actually pretty neat. I'm having a good time. God, what I would do for a big rock to sit on, or maybe one of those little camp stools, those folding camp stools. That might just be worth the trouble to carry it around, because boy, to be able to sit down. Part of the problem is I'd sit in the ground, but it's been raining for 2 or 3 days, so the ground is kind of muddy. I don't want to sit in it, so I'm kind of standing. Okay, so I've had a pretty good meal. I have a Cliff Bar with me in here in case I get hungry in the night, but I don't think I'll need it. There's really not much else to do. I've been standing for a long time, so I think so I'm in here laying down in my tent. I don't know if there's enough light. That's my Lucy light up there. That's supposed to burn for 12 hours. I'll take it out and set it here beside me, so that if I need a light during the night, I still have my regular light, but that kind of lights the whole tent up. I must have got my hand into a couple of nettles. It's a little bit tender, but I'll survive. Well, good morning. It's about 7:30. Bit nippy, but I was warm and dry in my trusty little tent all night long. Hang on, let me just zip this up. I don't want my buttons to get in there. I was 13 hours in that tent last night. That's what you do, I guess, when you're wild camping in the rain. You just kind of sitting there and hole up and wait it out. And sleep, but that's about all you can do. There's literally, well, nothing else unless you want to stand in the rain. But I've got no complaints. There was something going on in the river last night, or in the creek last night. It woke me up. It sounded like something making big walking in the water, but I don't know. I got up this morning and looked for any footprints and around my campsite, and I haven't seen any. So I'm still very much alone. Right here is the Cyclone Creek. Right over there is Goose Creek, and I don't know, frankly I can't remember if that is a little island or a peninsula that juts out. If it's a peninsula, one could get to it, presumably, but it looks pretty dense. So I doubt, well, you could probably set up over there if you wanted to. So the order of the day is I'm going to make some coffee, fire up the stove, boil some water, from which I'm going to have some coffee and some oatmeal. Here's my little spot. All in all, not too bad. Well, okay, this thought just came to me. It's a bit late, and it's not perfect yet, but right there, I don't know if you can see it, is my idea of a makeshift field table, or at least a flat surface. That's my cutting board, kind of wedged between a branch and a tree. Now, it's a plastic cutting board, so I don't think I could put my stove on it, but I could get my food off the ground, set my coffee cup down, place certain things off the ground. The problem with it is, well, you need a tree that's got that particular shape in it, and I just lucked out here. And the other problem is, it's right here on the edge of this muddy bank that is slippery, and one false step and you're in the water. But still, I think yesterday, if I would have thought of this sooner, I would have utilized it. But I'm on my last cup of coffee, getting ready to pack up and go, so we'll have to wait for another time. But I spent a lot of time in the tent last night thinking about the only complaint I have is no flat working surface, and that ain't much, but it's something. And as you can see, it's not exactly sitting down at a table for your cup of coffee in the morning, but I'm still standing, but at least I'm not setting my coffee cup down in the dirt. I'm gonna let it cool there while I wash out my pot, see if it stays. Of course, if it doesn't, I'm gonna lose my whole kit and caboodle, but I might as well find out now. Well, okay, it's time to say goodbye to this campsite that has been awfully good to me. I've had a good time, quite an experience, and I don't regret doing it at all. The one thing to remember, just figured it out, you really ought to bring some sort of cover for your bicycle saddle, because I get to sit on this nice wet one all the way home, but it ain't gonna kill me. So I've cleaned it up. I have left no trash. My fire actually burned quite well during the night. You know, looking at this, I don't know if this would be a good stealth site in the winter when the leaves are off the trees. It might well be visible when the trees are all leafless, but it's a wonderful place. I've heard some people riding up there this morning. Once in a while, over in this direction, you can get a glimpse of people just as they cross the bridge. The bridge is right over there. But I have been, you know, I haven't felt this alone in a very long time. I'm having a lot of trouble getting a GPS fix back here. This is the walk out. It isn't very far. But like I said, it's quite muddy today, but that's okay. Probably the toughest part of the walk out is right here. Here's something fresh this morning. Don't know what it was. Come on, bike. Okay, that's the worst of it.